Everything you think you know about taking creatine is probably costing you results. I've coached tens of thousands of people through losing fats and getting their strength and their health back, and creatine is one of the simplest wins available to them. Yet most people are leaving the majority of the benefits on the table. So in this video, I'm going to show you the creatine mistakes flying under the radar for people over the age of 50, why each one is draining your results, and then the simple changes that finally make creatine work the way that it's supposed to. So to start, I'm going to show you the most common reason that creatine never works for people, even when they're taking it, and that's that they quit too early. Most people try creatine for a week or two, they don't feel much, and then they decide that it's overhyped and then they stop. The problem is that creatine isn't like coffee or a stimulant or a pre-workout. It doesn't kick in 20 minutes after you take it. Creatine works by filling your muscles with phosphocreatine, which is a stored form of quick energy your muscles use when you push hard, like lifting weights or lifting something heavy or climbing stairs. Your muscles only hold so much of it, and most people walk around only partially full. When you start taking creatine, you're topping off that tank a little bit more each day, and you don't get the benefit until the tank is full. So for most adults, that takes 4 weeks or 8 weeks of taking it every single day, not 4 days and not 2 weeks, which is exactly when most people get discouraged and then they give up. And after 50, it can take even longer because your body holds less creatine as you get older, and you're usually getting less of it from food. So commit to a full 8 weeks before you judge it. Put a date on your calendar 2 months out. Take it every single day until you get there. Next, even people who stick with creatine past those 8 weeks often sabotage it with something they don't realize that they're doing, and that's cycling on and off of it. Cycling just means you're starting and stopping, or you're taking breaks from it. And a lot of people believe you're supposed to take creatine for a while, then take a few weeks off to let your body reset and then start again. And that idea is left over from the days of heavy bodybuilding or steroids, which needed to be cycled because they were messing with hormones. But creatine isn't a hormone. It isn't a steroid. Your body doesn't need to stop responding to it. You don't need a break to reset anything. All a break does is lets your muscle stores drain back down, like the tank starts to go empty again. So the problem with the break is that when you start taking again, you're back at that empty tank level, and you got to work another 8 weeks to get back up and top the tanks back off. This is a nutrient just like greens or protein. There's not really a reason to stop. A 2.5 to 5 gram dose will fill up what your body needs. So if you are using it, you can use it every single day. Some people assume creatine works like a pre-workout, only take it before they exercise, and then they skip on the rest days. But your muscles hold creatine around the clock, whether you train that day or not, and your brain needs creatine to help with clarity and focus and its full function. So every rest day that you skip your dose, those stores start depleting, you tap into your reserves, and then you never reach a full tank. So I make it a part of my daily regimen and my daily routine. No matter how active I might be, I encourage you to do the same. Next, number 3, most people feel a cramp, a bloat, a digestive change, gassy while they're on creatine, and they tend to blame just the product for it, when a lot of the cause for that is something else entirely. It's failing to drink enough water. Creatine pulls water into your muscle cells. That's actually part of how it works, because muscles full of water are stronger, they recover better, they're more lean, they look better, but that water has to come from somewhere. If you're not drinking enough to begin with, your body pulls it from your gut, and that's what leaves you cramped or bloating and running to the bathroom. This is a bigger deal after 50 than any other point in your life, because your sense of thirst gets weaker as you age, so you can be low on water already, and you're not even feeling it. In fact, up to 40% of adults over the age of 65 are walking around mildly dehydrated without even knowing it. So you've got people who are already short on water, who then start pulling in even more of it into their muscles with creatine, and they wonder why they feel awful or have some kind of digestive disturbance. The fix is to drink at least 16 to 24 ounces of water with each dose that you take, and then keep drinking and sipping throughout the day. It's a good health practice anyway. A good target is around 9 cups for women, 13 cups for men on a daily basis. One more thing that can make a real difference is dissolving your creatine in like a lukewarm water, room temp water. Could even do warm if you wanted to, never hot. But if you go too cold, sometimes it doesn't dissolve as well. And those undissolved bits passing through your gut are another way that can cause a little bit of cramping or a little bit of diarrhea as a kickback. So stir it till it's clear, then drink another glass of plain water once you're done. And if you're still cramping or you're still having digestive disturbance and you're drinking plenty, add some electrolytes in, like a pinch of sea salt or electrolyte powder into your water. They help your body actually hold on to the water instead of flushing it straight through. All right, number 4. So now you're taking creatine the right way. Your body's holding on to it. The next mistake is failing to take advantage of it. Creatine fills your muscles with that quick energy that I mentioned earlier through the phosphocreatine, but your muscles only use that energy when you make them work hard against something. A heavy grocery bag, a resistance band, your own body weight in the form of a squat, some dumbbells. That hard effort is the right signal that tells your muscles to actually use the creatine and grow stronger. So without that signal, the creatine just sits there. You got a full tank and you're never starting the engine. So starting around age 50, the average person loses 3 to 5% of their muscle every decade. And then it speeds up even more after the age of 60. That muscle loss is what takes your strength, your balance, and then eventually your ability to live on your own. And creatine is one of the best tools you have to fight that, but it only works if you're doing some training. Now, a lot of people over 50 hear resistance training and picture a gym full of heavy barbells and weights that 20-year-olds are using. You don't need any of that. Resistance bands, light dumbbells, or just even your own body weight all count. What matters is that you challenge the muscles until the last couple reps become genuinely challenging, genuinely hard to do. 2 to 3 short sessions a week is often enough to get the benefit. I've actually put together 5 free follow-along workouts from my members area, which only take 10 minutes a day and can be done without any equipment right from the comfort of your home, or simple ways you can add in some dumbbells to get that easy resistance training. I'll link those below in the description. Check them out if you're interested. Mistake 5. Now, training is only half of it. There's something else your muscles need afterward that creatine can't give them, and that's protein. Creatine gives your muscles the energy to train harder, but protein is what your body actually rebuilds those muscles with after the fact. So train hard, come up short on protein, and your muscles have the energy to break down, but nothing to build back. You end up sore and wore out with very little to show for it. So this trips people up over 50 in a way most don't see coming, because as you age, again, your body gets worse at turning protein into muscle. Researchers call this anabolic resistance. A 25-year-old can eat 20 grams of protein and trigger a strong muscle building response. But you eat that same 20 grams after the age of 50, and the signal that your body sends to rebuild muscle is much weaker. So the amount that used to be plenty no longer gets the job done. So to get past that weaker signal, you need more protein in each meal than maybe you used to eat. Aim for 30 to 40 grams of protein at every meal across 3 meals, especially if you're trying to get the benefit of adding muscle back to your body. And it's important that you spread it out. Your body can only handle so much at one time to build muscle. So 3 solid meals always beats cramming it all into just dinner. Each of those meals should have a quality protein at the center of it. Eggs are a great source. Beef, chicken, fish, maybe a yogurt or a cottage cheese, they all do the job. I also make what's called proffee. I take my coffee, I blend in some grass-fed butter, I blend in some coconut oil for healthy fats, I put a scoop of my collagen in for clean protein, and it froths up like a latte. Keeps your blood sugar steady, so they're not spiking insulin fast first thing in the morning, and then it gives you that quality protein to start your day. You can also use a scoop of protein with your creatine in the morning, and you've checked 2 boxes before you even have eaten breakfast. Mistake 6. You can do everything else on this list right, but if the creatine you bought isn't real creatine, none of it matters. And that's a big problem today, bigger than you might think. Independent labs recently tested 6 of the best-selling creatine gummies on Amazon, products with thousands of glowing reviews. 4 of the 6 had almost no creatine in them. With one of the ones that were measured, you would have to eat 800 gummies to get a single proper dose. So a lot of people were buying these to protect their muscle, their brain, and their health, and they weren't getting anything. And the supplement industry is full of this. Some forms of creatine are really cheap to make, and so then they'll dress it up and then they sell it at a really high price, but it doesn't really actually have the benefit. One of them that you'll see is cray alkaline or creatine ethyl ester, and it's marketed as an advanced or better absorbing. But when researchers tested them head to head, they don't beat plain creatine. Creatine ethyl ester is actually worse because your body breaks most of it down into a waste product before it ever reaches your muscles. So you're paying for a premium, but your body's just getting rid of it. Now, the form that's been studied to work, the one with decades of research behind it, is plain creatine monohydrate. It's one of the most studied supplements in the world. It's cost effective and nothing has ever beaten it. The one upgrade worth getting is micronized creatine monohydrate. It's the exact same thing. It's just ground finer, so it dissolves easier and then it goes down gentler on your stomach, which is important as you get older. It's part of the reason that I made my own. So after all the research, I wanted creatine clean enough that myself and Nurse Livingood could use on a daily basis. So she uses it, I take it. So the form is micronized creatine monohydrate. The proven form, no junk added, no fillers. You get exactly what the label says. I also did one more thing that I haven't seen another creatine product do. As I went through the research, I was also digging into how can we better get it absorbed, right? And I came across powerful studies on adding magnesium. Magnesium works like a switch that turns the creatine system on, and without enough of it in your body, you can't fully use the creatine to recharge your muscles and your brain. So when you put the two together, studies show bigger gains in strength and power than creatine alone. So I added in magnesium with the creatine in a simple to take powder that would mix into anything and is virtually tasteless. So if you want to skip the guesswork, start with one that's done right, I'll put a link to that one below. Now there's one more creatine mistake that I haven't touched on yet, and it might be the biggest one of all. It's taking the wrong dose. Almost everyone's taking an amount that was figured out 30 years ago for young men to fill up their muscles and nothing else. But your brain runs on creatine too. And at that dose, it's getting almost none of it. And there's a way to fix that, and it's something called mega dosing. It's how you finally get creatine working for your brain, your memory, your focus, especially on the days that your sleep wasn't very good. So I break down exactly how that works, how much to take, and all the details in my other video. I will include a link to that right here. Click to watch it next, and I'll see you there.